if you got the money, you can take that DNA test before the child is even born. Or if you don't have that kind of money, you can wait. Because in that case, I would make sure.
Yeah.
Find out if it's mine.
That's the thing.
Before I sign that paper.
Listen to me. That's a thing. You see what you're saying right now? What y'all said right now? That's a thing. Do you realize how many women get offended by a man asking for a DNA test? And that is extremely important because we have all of these children that turn 40. We've had these conversations on the show before. All right? Kids turning 20, between 20 and 40, then finding out that man is not your father. Okay, and that's terrible because that's again, again, we're talking about these responsibilities, right?
Accountability,
right? And then the woman's gonna be like, "I didn't know." No, we don't want to hear none of that. You should have known. Take that and don't get upset about the DNA test.
The weirdest thing with that part is when those conversations come up, there's no female that wants to be accountable for.
I feel like if
something like that. I think they find fun in it. Because I've never really seen, like when I've seen these conversations come up on social media and in the comments, there's mostly females sounding off. And there's hardly ever one female in there to say, oh, she should have known this or she should have did that. They're always on the female side. When a female, whether knowing or unknowingly, gives the child to the wrong father. It's like, it's a thing. Especially in the Jamaican community. That's just crazy.
Man, I wear jacket to them. Enough, man.
I think as a woman, if you know for a fact, ladies, take accountability. If you know for a fact you're sleeping around with multiple men unprotected or even protected, because condoms do break, like you said. If a man is like, well, I'm not sure, I don't know the timeline, the math ain't mathin', let's do a DNA test, you shouldn't feel offended by that.
Oh, so you feel like I don't know that it's you and blah, 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 blah. I was only sleeping with you. But first of all, you could have told me that you was only sleeping with me. Just knowing that you've been out here, you did sleep with Matt, Rat, Bat, and Cat. I know you have baby and nobody knows who the baby is. So you tell me what's going on. You have to tell. Like it should be a thing. You shouldn't get upset because and regardless of whatever, even if you're dealing, because some men are just relationships overall. Like some people just don't know.
Look at this, because as I said, we've had this conversation. I'm gonna pin the link to that conversation about this, where my argument was, I think DNA testing should be mandatory. Pretty much how they would check the baby to make sure the baby is healthy and the baby is okay to go home with their family. This should be one of the first things before the father signs that birth paper. Because I don't know how many of you guys know. I don't know if the law has changed. But whoever signs that birth paper,
that's who's responsible for the baby until they're 18 years old.
Yep. Because even if you found, I think, you'd have to have a strong lawyer to get out of that. Even if you sign that paper,
it's a legal document.
The child isn't yours.
Legal document.
She can still
collect child support. Oh yeah, for years and years. You can even go to 21 if the child. You can even go to jail.
Yep.
If you don't pay the child support, which we've seen and we've had these conversations yet again, might not go to jail for pitney that is not his. And then go to court and find out child is not his, and you then did 7 hard years.
Proving that the mother knew that you weren't the father, you're still. They still want you to pay.
Oh yeah, the government always want their money because the government don't really help. Because you wrong. 7 hard years for not paying that child support.
All I was gonna say was I don't know about mandatory. Like if you have doubt, for sure. But like,
so what's so hard? What's so wrong with that? See the same thing about accountability. What's so hard in that?
If y'all have doubt, sure, but like
it's just an extra test.
All right, when you go to the doctor, right? You go to the gynecologist, correct? What do they check you for? Don't even answer that. It's mandatory because they do it regardless whether you want them to or not. It's the same thing. So you can't say nothing.
It's not gonna hurt the father.
It's nothing.
It's not gonna hurt the child.
You ain't gonna hurt nobody.
Simple test. My DNA.
But that's the thing. They do check your DNA.
But you know why a lot of women would not want to sign off on that, because they know in themselves they weren't having one partner in and then again that there goes the accountability thing that we're talking about, because they out here running around telling and living the lie. But it's cool. It is what it is. But nonetheless, right?
I don't know.
Because
I don't know about mandatory. I would be fine with it, but mandatory. I would
really and truly want to ask this question, right? To ladies that have done this, I would really want to know, how do you sleep at night? How do you feel when you're looking at the man on the other side of that bed,
knowing that ain't his kid?
You knowing that these kids in the other room,
it's not his.
Is not his.
After you told him, because
and most of the times they know.
Yeah, they be knowing.
90% of the times they
99% of the time.
Until they go to the court on that TV show and they be like, the paternity test determined you are not the father, right? And then you cry. What are you crying for? You already knew. Don't put the show on. But again, I'm not bashing you, ladies. You guys are all beautiful. Dramatics. And if the kid is not bashing,
that's OD.
Yeah, that's fine. Look, if the kid is not his, run and cry and hide and all of that good stuff. Keep up the good. It's a good charade.